Hello friends, I am Manoj Goyal from the Wall Street School. We are an approved training partner with the GAP and we have helped thousands of students clear their FRM exam over the past few years. Friends, we got a lot of queries from the students who are planning to appear for the exam but still are not clear about several things about the exam itself. That's why we have prepared this video to address everything that you need to know about FRM examination, including what actually is the financial risk management, what's the updated fee and structure of the exam, what's the difficulty level of each subject involved, including normal pass percentage of student appearing for the exam, and salaries you can expect after clearing this exam. Hopefully, this video will help you make better decision about your career. So let's get started.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are fit, fine and safe. In today's video, I'll be talking about FRM. I'll be giving you details about the basics of the program, that is Introduction to FRM. Then I'll be talking about eligibility criteria and the exam structure. Then we'll be discussing the subjects that you'll have to study and the level of difficulty of those subjects. Then we'll be talking about exam pattern and minimum duration required to complete FRM course. What is the pass percentage and what is the salary you can expect after completing first level and second level of the exam. So let us start. This video is going to be very informative. First of all, let me introduce you to FRM. FRM stands for Financial Risk Manager. This designation is offered by GARP Institute USA. GARP stands for Global Association of Risk Professional. You can see this word USA after the name of this institute. You cannot be more assured about the recognition, the quality of the content, the comprehensiveness of the education given in this course, right? Since it is originating from USA, the education provided by US universities, US institutes are considered to be top-notch all around the world, and this is not an exception to that. In fact, this is the most recognized course in risk management in the entire industry. There is no second course that comes close to this. If you want to make your career into a niche of a niche, finance domain in itself is a niche job, right? Niche domain. And within that domain, if you want to make your career into risk, then this is the go-to course for you. You should not look anywhere else but FRM. If you want to make your career into risk analytics, risk management, risk modeling, Basel norm implementation, risk advisory, then this is the go-to course. The curriculum pre-assumes that you know something about accounting, something about finance, something about economics, and then tries to build upon that, right? So it only talks about risk management and allied activities. It is globally recognized, I already told you. For the candidates who are watching it from India, it is equivalent to post-graduation, right? To get this designation FRM, you have to clear 2 exams, part 1 and part 2. And then some work experience is already also needed. But if you'll be working in this industry, you'll automatically get it. You don't have to work anything extra for that, right? So this is a basic introduction to FRM. Now let's talk about eligibility, fees and exam. First of all, let's talk about eligibility. Good news is that there is no minimum eligibility criteria. There is no minimum age bar. There is no maximum age bar. You don't need to have any pre-qualifications to register. Just one thing that you need is you should have completed your 12th standard. Immediately after completion of your 12th standard, you can register. Although I do not recommend this to a kid who have just completed 12th standard. Even though I teach it, it will it might create a dent in my revenue, but still I do not recommend it. Understand this, a kid transitioning from 12th standard to first year of his college, many things around him is changing. His environment, making new friends, might be moving to new city, adopting to college life, new subjects are being taught. So for first year, I recommend everyone, even my relatives, the kids of my relatives, everyone, that you should not be asking your kid to be doing any other thing, just going college in the first year. From second year and onwards, you can register for advanced courses, including FRM, right? So second year of your graduation is the ideal time to start preparing for your FRM certification. You can register for part 1 as well as part 2 on the same time, and you can appear for both of these exams within 1 month, and maybe you will be able to clear it. But I will not recommend you to do this. I will recommend you to take it step by step. Register for part 1, clear it, give yourself some time, maybe get some work experience, some internship, some job, then register for part 2. Why am I saying that? Because ultimately you are not doing this course for the sake of collection of degrees, the trend that we have in India. Let's do MBA because everyone is doing MBA. Let's do this because everyone is doing it. No, 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 no. You are doing this to become more employable than you currently are. Maybe you'll be able to complete the examination by mugging up something, and you will be able to do extremely well in your exams. But when you start working in a organization, and when your boss or your leader recognize that you don't have in-depth understanding of the concept that were taught to you, you are very shallow in your knowledge because you have mugged them up, then he will kick you out in a span of 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Then what's the purpose of doing this course? You're doing this to acquire knowledge, and believe me, it takes time. It just takes time. You cannot move ahead of your time, right? So give yourself sufficient time, maintain the balance of work, studies, and happiness in your life, right? Secondly, let's talk about the fee structure. One time fee that you have to pay that is valid for 5 years, registration fees of $400, approximately 30,000 Indian rupees. Then when you want to appear for the exams, you also have to pay exam fees. If you register early, you will be paying $550, that is approximately 40,000 Indian rupees. If you register late, you will have to pay around 55,000 Indian rupees, that is $750. This fees depends upon the time of your registration. Like the exams for FRM in 2021 will be held in the month of November. So 31st July, if you register till 31st July, like this will be called as early bird registration, and you will be given a discount of $200. If you register after 31st July but before 30th September to appear in exams that are to be held in November 2021, then you have to pay $750, right? Full fees. Similarly, for part 2, like if you register in early bird, that is till 31st July, for the exams to be held in the month of December 2021, you have to pay $550. If you register a bit late, after 31st July but before 30th September, you can pay $750 and register. So in total, if you see, the total cost is 30,000 for one-time registration, and assuming you are able to clear both the parts and register early, 40,000 for part 1 and 40,000 for part 2. So relatively inexpensive course, right? 1,10,000. And like, to the best of my understanding, you will need help of a tutor. Maybe you'll be spending 50,000 for getting your books, syllabus, paying tutors, getting your calculator. So in total, this course can be done in 1,60,000, maybe at the most 1,75,000. Relatively inexpensive in comparison to your normal post-graduation course, right? Now let's talk about the exams. Exams are held for 2021 thrice. Part 1 exam is a computer-based exam. May exams are already held. July exams are already held on 21st of July, like just few weeks before uploading this video. And November exams are still pending, right? And then part 2 exams will be held in the month of December. May is already held. It is a pencil paper based exam. In part 1 exams, you will be sitting in front of a computer screen, will be using the mouse to select the correct answer. It is an MCQ based paper, but you will be using your mouse to click on the correct answer. But part 2 is a paper pencil based. You will be giving your you will be given a MCQ sheet. You have to encircle the correct answer, right? And once you give your exams, from the date of exams, approximately in 8 weeks, approximately let's say 1.5 to 2 months, your exam results are released. So it takes around approximately 45 days to 60 days to release exam results, relatively short period, right? Now let us move ahead and talk about the subjects that you have to study and level of difficulty. Part 1 have 4 subjects: foundation of risk management, quantitative analysis, financial markets and products, and valuations and risk models. This is theory, like more or less theory. Its weightage is around 20%. Quantitative analysis, more or less practical. Its weightage is around 20%, and the tougher part of the entire course. Financial markets and products, theory plus practical both. Weightage is around 30%. And then valuation and risk model, theory plus practical both. Weightage is around 30%. Right? Part 2, there are 5 books that you have to study. Market risk, credit market is like practical in nature. Weightage is around 25% and 25%. Then operational and risk resiliency, more or less theoretical in nature. Weight is around 25%. Liquidity and treasury risk management and investment management, the balance is allotted to them. That is around 15% and 10%. And it is mixture of theory and practical, right? So this is how you have to study. In part 1 4 subjects, part 2 5 subjects, and you can see all of them are focusing on risk, right? They don't talk about anything else other than risk. Quantitative analysis is statistics, hardcore statistics, in which you will be talking about multivariate random variables, probabilities, linear regression, time series, right? And then bootstrapping, and then valuations and financial markets and products. You'll be talking about basics about finance, bond valuations, FRA valuations, derivatives, all these things, right? Now let's talk about the difficulty level. Part 1 of FRM is difficult in comparison to, let's say, CFA level 1, a bit more difficult. So part 1 is difficult and part 2 is even more difficult than part 1. So exam difficulty is fairly high. Like you cannot prepare for this in last 15 days, 10 days. You need around 300 hours of cumulative study to clear both the parts. So in total, let's say around 600 hours are at least needed. At least needed. I am repeating myself, at least needed. Maximum side, like around, like comfortably, if you want to pass, 750 hours are recommended for both the parts. Let's say around you need 350 hours for part 1 and 450 hours for part 2 to be very sure that whenever you appear for exam, you will be able to clear it, right? Now let's talk about exam pattern and the minimum duration required to complete this certification. So exam pattern, part 1, it is going to be a computer based. Part 2 is going to be pencil paper based. The pattern is MCQ for part 1 as well as part 2. The session, like how long the exams take, 4 hours, in which you can take the break as per your convenience. At the most 2 breaks are allowed. Like if you want to go to restroom or drink water or whatever you want to do, 2 breaks are allowed within those 4 hours. As well as for part 2, 4 hours session, like one paper of 4 hours, 2 breaks are allowed at the most. In part 1, there are 100 questions, few practical, mostly theoretical questions. And part 2, 80 questions are there, mostly theoretical, few practical questions are there, right? Now let's talk about the minimum duration. So theoretically, a person could complete his FRM in 6 months. He will register in early bird, will prepare for part 1 and part 2 in matter of 6 months, and then he can appear for the exams. Although I have already said that I do not recommend. At least take 1.5 years to complete the entire syllabus, right? Otherwise, how will you retain it? You'll just mug it up, spill out in exams, and then you'll forget it. You have to retain it. You have to understand the nitty-gritties. And for that, you have to give some time to yourself to settle all these things, right? These are statistically very significant concepts and you need to devote proper time to absorb them, right? Now let's talk about the pass percentage and the most lucrative part that you guys are waiting for, salary. So pass percentage for part 1 historically have been around 40% to 50%. Historically, right? I cannot guarantee what will happen in future, but historically, if you score anything around 40 to 50%, you will pass. For part 2, Ironically, it is much higher. 50% to 60% historically has been the pass rate. So, like part 2, though being tougher than part 1, the pass percentage is better. Now let's talk about salary. If you want, I can prepare one entire video talking about salary of FRM in India. In this video, since we are discussing more or less about the course, I don't want to focus much on salary, but still I'll give you a wide range. Obviously, there will be exceptions. After completing your part 1, if you start with a job, on lower side you will be making 4 lakh rupees per annum. On higher side you will be making 8 lakh rupees per annum after completing part 1. And after completing part 2, on lower side you will be making 6 lakh rupees per annum. On higher side you will be making 15 lakh rupees per annum. And this will grow. Like, it's not the maximum that you will earn in your entire career. This will grow with the time, with experience. When you move to higher designations, when you take on more responsibilities, this might reach to a maximum level of, like, you will be completing ultimately your part 2 also. So maximum you can expect to around 40 lakhs to 60 lakhs over the course of 5 to 10 years once you start like working and taking more responsibilities, right? So this was our sincere attempt to tell you about FRM. So if you think this video added value to your time, you can subscribe the channel and like this video. And if in case you have any queries, you can reach us in the comment section below or at the wallstreetschool.com. We are very active at both the places. Thank you.